The experience. It's what I bring to it. Today we're chatting from the viewpoint of the Sanctuary of Play. Sanctuary of Play is a virtual church with a joyful mission that play is a sacred gift and an innate part of our natures which should be celebrated. We feel play is a basic need like sleep, food and water, shelter, and community. Like those practices, play is good for us, has a purpose, and can be expressed in many ways. We're going to talk about play and encourage play in our lives. Sanctuary of Play's missions and values can be found on our website. But today, we're doing a chat which happens every Sunday in the afternoon, Pacific time. Let's get into it. The experience. It's what I bring to it. There are a lot of ways to experience the various forms and practices of playing. Today, I want to talk about the act of being on the taking it in side, on more of the audience than the performer. Experiencing something can happen in a number of ways, some as intimate and personal as being the only person to hear a love poem written for you from the poet, to being just one viewer in a world premiere event. For the part of experience that I'm talking about, it doesn't matter so much if the creator or player had you or me in mind or intended you or me to experience their actions or creations. For today's topic, we're putting aside the intent of the source of the experience. I could use a lot of parasocial or non-specific examples from old translations of the Bible or World League sports like football goals or boat races, or a musical act that's part of a big award ceremony. Today, I'm going to use the recent Bad Bunny Super Bowl 60 halftime show as my toy to talk about experience. I missed so much about that show, and that's okay. I'm going to ramble a little bit about what I didn't experience, and then what I did experience. I'll be out of order of the events in the show, just warning you that this won't be chronological. I didn't understand half of what was being sung, not just because my Spanish is not the best, but later I learned from a linguistics video that he has a very distinct accent. Neat. I had no idea. The people with that accent had a different experience than I did. We both had valid experiences. Their potentially intimate or familiar listen is good. My confusion and innocence is good. Because when experiencing something, what you bring to it is good enough. There was a part during the power polls where his singing style was almost a chant. A friend who was raised heathen immediately experienced that sound as a ritual invocation, just from the sound alone, without seeing the visual that the performer was literally on a power platform. Once it was pointed out to me, I could totally see it. Do we think he planned that to actually be an invocation? No idea. Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't matter. My friend's experience of being raised heathen and literally being a child of the owners of a ritual theater company means they have the perspective to view the power pole chanting in that way. It is a very specific personal experience of something that was broadcast to almost 5 million viewers and has been available to be watched ever since. Does it matter that I missed the idea of invocation? Not a bit. Another thing that my friend who was listening as I rewatched the show to prepare for this chat pointed out was a specific part of the wedding. I had understood that the wedding was part of the message of community and love, which was a theme of the show. I understood that the wedding was one of the most timeless and universal personal and community building blocks to a joyful life, and that including a wedding helped the show be more accessible, fun, and applicable to a bigger group compared to the people who were just there to hear that a very sensual man would be singing about partying. What I missed is that a wedding is often very intimate, and it might have helped the viewer feel even more included and even more invested in the show. Being invited as a guest to the wedding hits different than being in the audience of a show, which would help viewers take in the message of love. Do we know that was the intent? Absolutely not. We don't know a thing. Or at least I don't know a thing about that yet. Does it matter if that was the intent? If my friend takes that idea away from seeing the wedding as part of the show? No, it doesn't matter. It's what my friend experienced. I'm sure there's a lot more about being like a physical laborer versus a knowledge laborer, being agrarian, having a more cohesive community that would be less accessible to me with my lived experience that I totally missed. In a lot of ways, the show was not made for me. That's okay. I got to have an outsider view. But here are some of the things that I did experience during the show. I'm frequently aware of color. It's one of my favorite visual languages. My color perception happens to be really good, but that isn't necessary for my habit of noticing color. There was a lot of intentional looking color use in the show. There was a lot of white at specific times, such as around more universal community things like working the fields, the wedding, and the America's March at the end. He himself was in white the whole time, which is a common look for him from what little I've seen. Brown was used as a neutral. There was a dance troupe in ruffled brown skirts with like hip scarves. In the larger crowd scenes, if something wasn't a color, it was usually brownish instead of higher contrast black. Black came later in the truck scene and the violins. There was color, and it started with red, and then blue, and then yellow. Those were the predominant colors. Other colors, like the neon green around the auntie who gave him a shot to drink, or the neon green around the frame on the wall when he broke through the roof, were just flashes of colors. This echoed beautifully for the march out at the end of the show when he was carrying his red, light blue, and white flag surrounded by white-dressed drummers and field of other American flags ringing the background in colors. I really appreciated the progression and the journey. I appreciated the distinction between wearing whites moments and colorful crowd moments. I'm pretty sure it was intentional. I'm very sure all of my guesses don't even come close to what the actual plans and ideas are. I also know my friends experienced all of that color crafting innocently, and that the color narrative washed over them without the urge to think about it. My overthinking, their being in the moment, all are valid ways to experience that part of the show. It was really nice to see women in the drum section. There was a woman drummer at his right-hand side. Some of the Afro-diasporic Caribbean-based spaces I've been fortunate enough to experience have extremely firm opinions and practices that drummers should only be men. I loved seeing an inclusive drum group in the march about the inclusive list of the Americas with the words about love over their heads broadcast on the big screen. Would that not even register to someone else? Sure. Does it make the experience of the people who didn't notice lesser? No. Their experience was equal to mine because it was their experience. Oh, also, the logistics of it all. There's so much to get into in the logistics, but I'm only going to choose two tiny slivers. 1. The violin section was right before pronouncing the couple who were getting married during the show husband and wife, which means that it was the background music to the vows. He wasn't singing over their vows very much. Everything about that wedding was respectful of the couple. It was beautiful to see that he could accommodate the ritual and ceremony in the middle of everything else. 2. He knew exactly when the halftime show was going to happen. We know exactly when the sun sets. He used fireworks as soon as it was dark enough, the fireworks would pop. And he exited to fountains of fireworks against the darker sky. I'm sure there are a lot of ways that could be seen symbolically, but from a stagecraft viewpoint, it was beautifully done. Lots of people were able to just let the pageantry wash over them and enjoy the drama and excitement. Their experience was innocent. I could not see the choices to take advantage of the timing of the moment. My experience was colored by a little bit of wisdom. Both the innocent and the wise experience are equal. You don't have to get all the layers to enjoy something. I could keep going on about things I only was told about later, or friends shared with me, or things that I noticed myself about the Bad Bunny Super Bowl 60 halftime show. But it was the playground to bring out the toy of experience that I wanted to talk about today. Experience is what we bring to it. I apologize if, in listening to today's chat, you traded some innocence for some perspective or knowledge without warning. Life is often like that. Please take comfort in the idea that the way you experience things is almost always good. The first time you experience something is good. The next time you experience the same thing is good. The bazillionth time you experience something is good. If there is a lifetime between experiences, that's good. Please don't feel bashful, shameful, or any other personal judgment about where you are, when and how you experience something. What you bring to the experience is enough. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you again next Sunday about a different topic. We might be voting topics over on the Patreon in the future. Please be well.